Hi, everyone. Welcome to office hours, our first set of office hours. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, my name is Sandra Gonzalez, and I'm the instructor for the online course. Deanna is joining us, but she's watching through the YouTube live stream. Hold on one second. For those of you who are joining. Okay, so if you have any questions for either her or I, just go ahead and type them into the chat room, or please join me on the live Google Hangout. Okay, it's much easier for me to answer your question if I can see you and hear you, and you don't even need to turn on your camera. Just so you understand how this works, I'm not really going to teach anything during this portion. It's just a time for you to be able to ask your questions and get clarifications on some of the assignments. But before we start, I do want to go ahead and go over a few things. So what I'm going to do right now is share my screen, and I'm going to review some of the things that we've gone over this week. Okay, so unless you have any immediate questions, you can go ahead and start typing those in. So hold on one second while I pull up these slides. I am going to send these out. I am going to send these out to you as a PDF. Hold on, let me pull this up. Okay, and as you all are coming into the Google chat room or the Google Hangouts, if you can just mute your microphone, that would help me out a lot. Okay, super, thank you. Okay, good, you can see my screen on YouTube. All right, just to clarify for day 6, I know it says, I know for one of the objectives, it talks about common business financing models. There are no readings for this, but there is a video and it's under day 7. So let me see if I can pull this up in our course. Okay, so yeah, under day 7, it's at the bottom of the screen. So if you watch that, it'll just give you an idea of ways to finance your business aside from your own capital. And when you're at the 3-day conference, there's an entire breakout session on this. So just come prepared with your questions, or just be prepared to listen, because there's a lot of information involved with the different types of funding, whether it's debt or equity or just raising money through family and friends. Okay, so I hope that answers that question. But otherwise, there is no assigned video for today. And I know that this question came up in the Ask the Expert forum. Okay. All right. Another question came up about whether I have all of these resources consolidated. I actually do not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some links to some really good resources that already have consolidated everything that you need to know about entrepreneurship. So the IVMF resource library is one of them. I'm just going to go ahead and go to that resource. If you still have the old Moodle guide, one of the easiest ways to get to it right now is through the vets.mrooms.net, and it's right here under this tab. So we'll see if Jim can move it for us to the new Moodle room. But once you click on it, it looks like this, and then you can bookmark the hyperlink up here. The IVMF resource library has every topic, not just entrepreneurship, but it also talks about transitioning for service members. So if you just type in their entrepreneurship, this part will come up, and then it brings up all of the topics related to starting a small business. I'm waiting for it to show up on YouTube. There's a little bit of a delay. Okay, I see it coming up now. But what you see the drop down, so it addresses accounting, legal, all of that stuff. And there's even a section with videos for the business plan lab for those of you who are planning to write your business plan and maybe compete, and as well as a lot of resources for government contracting. Okay, so now you know where this is. It'll make it a lot easier for you to organize organize all of the information that you're getting, and to have access to some really credible resources and really great resources. Okay, so that's the IVMF resource library. Another really good resource, and it's on here, all you have to do is hold the control button and click link when you get this as a PDF, is IVMF's VetNet program. They have, again, with the VetNet program, it's divided up for career placement, and then the entrepreneurship track. So that link is on here just for VetNet entrepreneurs. So just go ahead and bookmark it. But this is a great way to continue your professional development once VWise ends, because there's a lot of videos on here on a lot of different topics. And when you subscribe to their YouTube channel, you'll get automatic notifications when there are new videos. For now, because of all the marketing analysis homework assignments this week, what I want you to focus on are two of the videos. This one right here is for business research overview. I'll talk about that a little bit, but this one is given by the librarian from Syracuse, and she'll tell you what resources are really good for you to use when you're doing your industry research and your market analysis. The other video when you have time to watch it, you can do this at your leisure, talks about niche marketing, and that one's right here. And when you go to the PDF, those hyperlinks for YouTube are here also, so you can either bookmark it or subscribe to those channels. But the main thing with niche marketing is that this is really going to apply to most of you, because as small businesses, you can get rich in a niche because the bigger players in your industry will probably not compete in a smaller space because they won't make as much profit, and it will cost them more money to do business in this small space. So the main challenge for you is actually identifying your niche. So this speaker does a good job about helping you to figure out your niche so that you know how to find your market. Okay? That's going to be real key when you are developing your feasibility analysis, because you got to know where you're going to advertise. And that's why we're going through this process now of doing your market analysis. So those two videos should help you this week, and I'm going to go through some more resources because this can be kind of tricky. All right. If you're it's easier if you're part of your industry or part of your niche, because you know that market very well. If you're not part of your niche, you're going to do a lot of research online as well as talking to your customers. So there's different types of research. We're not really going to go over that right now, but I just want you to be aware of where you can get this information. All right, so this stuff here and where I'm going to talk about at the end, that's your it's called secondary research. It's just an overview of the industry and the market. What you're going to want to do, and I know it's a homework assignment, I think it's this week, when you create your survey, that is part of your primary research where you're talking to your customers. All right, let me go to the next slide. Okay, a lot of the questions this week focused on the NAICS codes. That can be really tricky. If you follow the directions on nuts and bolts when looking for your NAICS codes, it'll help you out. It'll shorten the time that you can actually find your NAICS. So if you're going to use Firefox, I'm going to go ahead and open up. There's the little window that's to the right. This is where you're going to type in the keyword NAICS, and then you're going to add your industry and maybe list a competitor or two below. Okay. The nice thing about Firefox is that when you are typing into that right-hand box, it's going to bring up the different search engines. So Yahoo, Google, I think this is Bing. So as you are searching, you're just going to right-click on these different search engines because they're all going to bring up different results. They just all have different algorithms. I'm going to go ahead and close these out so this moves a little bit faster. Okay, so whose industry do you want me to research? If you can type it in to the chat room, or you can, if you're on Google, to the chat room, or you can, if you're on Google. All right, can everyone hear me now? How about now?
I can hear you.
Okay, super. Does anyone want me to research their NAICS code and industry? I see transformational author and coach. Let me see. Okay, well, I'm going to try that. It says New Love Jones. Tell me your first name, because all I see is that all I see is your screen name. And I will go ahead and share my screen. All right. Okay, I know we have a lot of people in the coaching industry, so let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, here's right. Let me try this one more time, and I'm gonna show you the different ways to do the different searches. Okay, here we go. Is it showing up now on YouTube? New Love, okay, super. Okay, you were transformational author. Let me find that on the chat. Where did it go? Transformational speaker, author, and coach. So when she's doing her, when she's researching anything for her industry, let me see, author and coach. I don't even know. That might just be under coaching. So I'm going to write coaching, and then industry. I'm going to go ahead and write the NAICS code for that. So for when I do this search, I'm going to do it on two different search engines, first on Yahoo and then on Google, because they always bring up different results. So for New Love, do you see my screen here? For business NAICS code, it lists 611430. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. It probably says professional. Okay, so professional and management development training. This is like the fallback industry for executive coaches. So this might be it. And then if I go to Google, okay, it's bringing up, see how it brings up completely different things. So you do want to research this on different search engines. And the reason I'm using Firefox is because when I type it in here, it brings them up automatically. Otherwise, you have to type in the search engine on Chrome. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. And when you're doing your other searches, you're going to do the same thing, but instead of NAICS, what I usually put in here is IBIZ, and then it brings me directly to the IBIZ reports. Now, business coaching in the US, I'm going to go ahead and right click, because I usually open everything up in separate tabs all at the same time so I can compare them. Now, IBIZ World, hopefully a lot of you are familiar with this, but these are reports that you can get from business counselors. Okay, I'm waiting for YouTube to catch up. There's a little bit of a delay, but okay, so now you see my screen. IBIZ World is the leader in producing these industry reports. So that's why I'm showing this to you. But when you go to see your counselors, if they have a subscription to this service, what they're going to do is give you these different reports so that you can start your market analysis. Okay, and it breaks it down into the industry and market size, and it gives you a bunch of data. You don't want to pay for these reports. They are very expensive. We're talking several hundreds of dollars. So that's why you want to start building these relationships with your business counselors, because they can give these to you. And so can university libraries. So for those of you who are taking courses right now in higher education, you may have access to these databases. So you might be able to get these for free. Okay, I'm also going to show you really quickly, because these will be very helpful for you. So this is a sample IBIZ report that I just downloaded from online. So if you are having trouble finding your NAICS code, and I struggled with this for several months, I should have just Googled one of my competitors, because even though we're an educational consulting company, our NAICS is actually for the internet publishing industry because we design our own original content. But had I followed the directions in nuts and bolts, I would have saved myself a lot of time. So when you get these reports, usually on the second page, it'll give you similar industries in case this is not the right industry for you. Okay, so you see these NAICS codes, and then you can research those and see if they're the right fit for you. When the reason we have, we're having you find your NAICS code, and I'm going to go ahead and switch back to my slides, is because you're going to use them when you register your business for a lot of different things. Okay, that's how they measure. That's how they measure the performance in these different industries, through your taxes and through other things. And then if you are competing, or if you're in that procurement space where you're competing for federal contracts or working with some of these Fortune 500 companies, you'll list your NAICS codes on what's called a capability statement. Okay, and then the other reason it's good for you to have your NAICS codes is that your business counselors will probably ask you for them when they're trying to find you different industry reports. Okay, so that's what that is for. Do we have any questions so far? Let me scroll down in the chat room. Okay, so I don't see anything on YouTube, and let me look on Google Hangouts. Does anyone have anything on Google Hangouts? Okay, I'm just let me close up this screen and go back to this.
At what point should you trademark or patent stuff?
As soon as you can. Start researching to see if somebody already has a patent on what you're trying to develop. Because if they do, then most likely you would have to license it from them. But then a patent only protects what they have patented, what's under that patent. So if they didn't protect it under a patent, I'm trying to think of an actual example. Okay, so in the readings, I think there was, I want to say it was a pharmaceutical company. There was something in their product they didn't patent. And so everyone figured out a way around it. And that's how they were able to compete. So work with a librarian or maybe even a business counselor to see if what you're trying to develop already has a patent on it.
Okay, thanks.
That is a very good question. So thank you for asking. Okay, same thing with your trademarks. I had to change the name of one of my companies because the original name was too common, and that attorney knew that it was that trademark was not going to go through. So my friend had already come up with a different name, and so we just went ahead with that. Like in the example I'm going to use is Spanx. So what she did was she wanted a one-word name and that had like a different spelling. So it's a constructed name, meaning that it's not common. It makes it much easier to trademark. So so do the searches, get some feedback from friends. Okay, that's the easiest way to do it. And then you can see if something could be trademarked. All right, the other thing I'm going to talk about, because if no one has any questions, I'm just going to keep talking, all right? You are going to get these slides later, are some research tools for you. So as you're doing more of your industry and market research this week, sizeup.com is a real easy tool for you to use, as well as census.gov. So with SizeUp, you can actually find out information about your competition. So let me see. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. And sometimes it works for me, and sometimes it doesn't when I'm on YouTube. But we'll go ahead and try. Okay, right here. Let me, I'm just going to go back and start my search over on SizeUp. So all you need to do is type in your industry. So in this case, I typed in bakery and restaurants because there's always somebody in every class who wants to start a bakery. Okay. I'm going to, let me mute. As you're coming into the into Google Hangouts, if you can just turn down your microphone real quick. Deanna, is that you? Okay.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm here.
Oh, okay, good.
Hi, I'm going to mute myself right now.
Okay, good. I'm glad you could join us. All right. when you get to this point, just type in your industry and then it will help you search for your location, use what they have. And then I'm going to click on, I want to start a business. Okay, once I get to this point, then if I click on continue, it's going to allow me to see how I'm doing compared to my competitors. And then it's going to show me where they're located. And then it talks about advertising. So I'm going to go ahead and do the first one, which is compare to your competitors. So you actually, if you have a subscription to this, you could put in your revenue. This part here is free. The first 3 are free, but the rest of them you have to pay for. So I'm going to, for my revenue as a bakery for my first year, I'm just going to say, we're going to make $600,000. And the year that we started will be, okay, well, I'm not going to finish it, but see how it brings up the results. And it gives me a benchmark for San Antonio. So my business compared to everybody else falls along here. Everybody, if you just hover, it'll bring up the results. So for bakeries in the United States, they make more than $1 million per year. But in San Antonio, San Antonio's a little bit more, okay? And then it breaks it down even more by the different areas. So if you're a brick and mortar and you need to know how your competitors are doing in your area, sizeup.com is a really good tool to use. Okay, and the other thing I want to show you, let me see if I can do it here. I'm just going to click on competition here. And this is all in your slides. So if you don't have time to watch it, you'll just be able to flip to it. Okay, so it actually maps it out, the location of your competitors, and then it gives you the consumer spending. Okay, I had already selected this, so that's why you're seeing it. But if you click on the drop-down arrow, and I'm going to select snacks and alcoholic beverages, I can see that for this area here, it's the people are spending between $2.1 million and $3.1 million a year. Okay, and down here they're spending a little bit less, but that's how you can do this. The other tool that can help you with your market analysis homework this week is census.gov. If you scroll to, or if you hover on data, this will bring up some tools like American Fact Finder or Quick Facts, and that's how you can find the demographic data for people in your area or people in the United States based on a certain age range, or businesses for those of you who are B2B and doing consulting work. Okay, so that's just one of the resources, but I'm not going to go into that too much because there was a webinar done on VetNet, and that hyperlink is here. It was done by the university librarian over there at Syracuse, and you can watch that here. All right? Okay, I just wanted to point that out in case you're looking for different resources. So when you get these slides, it's going to walk you through it. Okay, so you just put in your information here, and then you can select on the different tools, and it'll show you the exact information that I just covered. All right. How do we know? Here's a question. How do we know when we land on the right codes when the search engines have conflicting info? That's a great question. That's really going to be up to you. It's going to be up to what you think that your company is capable of. Okay. So in the feasibility analysis, there's a SWOT analysis I think it's at the back of the assignment. Start writing out what you think your company is going to be good at. Those are going to be, it could be marketing, operations, and see which of those NAICS codes kind of fall in line with what you're going to do. Okay, there's no real right or wrong. It's based on your capabilities. I hope that answers your question. Okay, good. Are there any questions from Google Hangouts? Okay. Okay, so here's census.gov. So you can use that for the big overall demographic information. Since a lot of you have overlapping industries and you're competing in a niche, it might be more challenging to find that information. So Google articles online, and that's why I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you how the different search engines work. So I'm going to go back to New Love's industry, coaching industry, iBiz. And let's see what the search results are for Google. So for her industry, I'm probably not typing in all the right words. I'm going to put success factors. So what does she have to do to be successful in this? So here are the results for, this is defaulted for Yahoo. 24 million results on how to be successful in the coaching industry. Now, if I did this, if I click on it again, and I did it for Google, okay, about 1 million results. And you know, these are all going to be different, but this gives you an idea of how many people are searching for the same thing that you are. So the more people the bigger the number, the more people are searching for it, which means you might have a bigger market for it. Okay. All right. Does anybody else want me to research their industry? We're at, we have about 15 more minutes on YouTube. Okay. Trying to think of some of the other industries that we have online. Of course, I can't remember any of them right now. Okay, anybody on Google Hangouts want me to research anything? All right, let me go back to my slides then so I can make sure I cover everything. All right, I know a lot of people are struggling with this assignment. To answer the questions in the New Business Road Test, the Intro to Business Ownership, that reading, that'll explain a little bit more about the market analysis and how to perform it. These IBIZ industry reports that we just covered, as well as news from your industry associations, those will answer a lot of the questions in the industry research in nuts and bolts, okay? Trying to figure out stuff about your market, that's going to be a combination of a couple of things. It's, you know, the primary research from talking to your customers, and that's the best way to defend your competitive strategy, especially if you're talking to mentors and advisors who are not even in your market and don't know why you're developing this product or service for them, as well as the internet searches, just using regular articles that you can find from trusted resources. Okay, I'm going to answer this one question. So this is from Mary Ellen. I have very specific niche market. You're going to be looking for both. Let me see. Let's pull yours up. (71394). Can you give me the name for that industry? I'm going to go ahead and see what comes up on Yahoo and Google. Oh, fitness and recreation. Okay, so sports and then more sports. Okay, good. Very good. You're a copywriter for pet health products. Okay, you have overlapping industries, so I'm glad you wrote this. I'm going to actually type in copywriter. How do you spell this? Copywriter industry. This is almost under marketing. I'm going to write in marketing. Are you doing copywriting for digital, like for the web, for blogs, or is it for print? How are we doing this, Mel? Marketing industry. Because when you look in the marketing industry, it's broken up into different segments, and digital marketing is one of the faster growing segments. So I actually want to say that you're competing in this space, in the marketing space, and not so much in the pet space, mostly for web and blogs. Okay, this is much better. I'm going to backtrack. So let me open up a new PowerPoint. You can even do this on Word. So Mel brought up a good point here. I'm gonna create a table for her. So she's competing. I really think you're competing in the marketing space. So if we did this is her market segmentation. Let me see if this will come up correctly. So the pet industry, and then she would actually list who she is being so for pet health products. This is your market segmentation map or chart, pet health products. And then you're going to type in here, somewhere in here. You can format this any way you want, the actual companies or organizations you want to do this for. It could be solopreneurs, small to medium-sized businesses. Okay, so you all see how I'm doing this? You're going to do the same thing, small to medium-sized businesses. And then if you can get those big enterprises, if you can get a contract with them, it's called, and let me type it out here. Look under supplier diversity. Every one of them has this. If you go to their websites and type in supplier diversity program, it'll show you how to do business with these big companies. If you can get a contract like that, it takes a long time, but that can pay off really big. That's something you can put on your website. So here's her different market segment. Here are some characteristics of the market she is going to serve. Because you're not limited to just pets, although this could be a very profitable segment of your market. Characteristics, and then how you're going to market to them, okay? Because you are B2B. And then you're going to figure out what % of your total client base that they're going to make up. So if we're going to stick with the pet industry, there's pet health products. There could be other pet products, and then veterinarians. They are always looking for content writers. Okay, so excuse my spelling, but you all get the picture. All right. So now I'm just going to. Okay, so I will save this later, and I'll get this to you. I'm going to post it on the Ask the Expert forum. So now under marketing industry, I'm going to put content creation. Okay, and let's see what that brings up. Let me put the NAICS code. So you would actually put in these different NAICS codes. Okay, Mel. And I know we're totally getting off track, but I really think that this is where you're competing. It's not bringing it up here, but if you keep typing in different words into the search engine, it'll start bringing up some NAICS codes. So even though the recreation, the whole pet health industry is probably your market segment, this is probably what you are competing in. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Okay, good. 541613. Did I type that in wrong? 541613. Let me try this again. Okay, marketing consulting services. There you go. Super. Okay, okay, I'll do the special needs, but first let me do the self-defense or defense industry. Is it self-defense training or is it self-defense products? I thought you were selling stuff. I'm going to type in products, and then I'm going to type in industry, and then I'm going to type in NAICS. Because, it's fine if you're doing a little bit of everything, but there's going to be different NAICS codes depending on what you're doing. So wholesale, I had the impression you were doing retail. So, but you all see how I'm doing this. So you just need to decide how you're competing. Are you a wholesaler selling to other businesses, or are you selling directly to consumers, which means that you're probably doing, which means you're doing retail, and it would probably be a different NAICS. Okay, but you can list as many NAICS codes as you need to. Products. Okay. So if you actually could be doing both retail and wholesale. So if you're buying them in bulk from somewhere, from some supplier, and then reselling it through supplier diversity programs, okay, maybe to different stores in your area, then you would be competing in both. So you would list all of those different NAICS codes. Okay, Vivian, special needs child care. Very good. Thank you all for participating. Special needs, I think this might be disability, special needs child care. Okay, I've done this with somebody before. I know it's not education services. This is a growing industry here. Yeah, here it is, daycare businesses. So when you see stuff like this from Forbes magazine, definitely open it up and copy and paste this kind of information into a Word document, and then take what you need and put it in your business plan. Okay, good. All right, sweet tea, just self-defense. Good. You buy in bulk, and you have a lot of things going on. All right, this will grow with some planning and some good mentors. All right, growth in daycare businesses. There is, I forgot what it's called, but there is an industry specifically for this. I want to say it's disability or disabled. I can't remember how it was worded. Disability care industry. Okay, here it is. Services for elderly and persons with disabilities. Let me type this in the chat room. I'm going to type the number in 624120, so you have it. Okay. And when you meet with business counselors, they'll be able to do this for you. And the good ones will just start giving you the different industry reports. Elderly, and I'm just going to write disabilities, so this will be quicker. 624, and then just copy and paste this so that you have it. All right, good. Anybody else? Okay. All right. Let me go back to my slides so I can make sure that I cover everything in here. So in case anyone has any questions after I email this to you, you can just watch this at your leisure in order to answer your questions. Okay, so we talked about the intro to business ownership PDF. That will talk about market analysis. It'll give you a nice overview. The IBIZ industry reports in your industry association. So just sign up for the free newsletters, and that'll give you an overview into your industry. Those are things that you need to know about, because new trends, new regulations, those can affect your performance. All right. Census.gov, size up, and then the internet searches. We just talked about all that. So use that to research your competition. All right. And these are credible resources right here for when you're looking for articles. So Inc. magazine, Entrepreneur magazine, Forbes. Now, it's really hard when you're getting started and you don't even know anything about your industry, especially if it's new. So SBDC Net has sample business plans. So let me go ahead and pull them up. And if you ever forget, I always just type in sample business plans, but these are my usual go-to resources. So when you get there, let me see if I pulled up the right one. I think this is it. It's somewhere on the left-hand side, and it'll give you templates, okay? It's alphabetized. There's always somebody in the automotive repair industry. So here's the actual business plan, and you can just copy and paste it. I don't know if you can actually download it, but it breaks it down so you understand what people are looking for in a business plan so that you understand how to write yours. And now don't go and copy and paste it and then give it to somebody to look at. That has happened to me, because and people who are used to doing this will pick it up really quickly. What you want to do is just take notes and then rewrite it so that it is applicable for you. Okay, every region is going to be different. You may not have 10 bays if you're starting an automotive company, repair company, and we do have a lot of women mechanics out there. That's why I'm going over this. Just so make it so that it aligns with your goals. If you just want to start a mobile service, that's fine. You're not going to copy and paste all this. But the key things to look for are the success factors, what else? Marketing, the operations, and then take a look at their financials. So this will give you an idea of how to put this all together. Okay, and the key thing that people are looking for when they're reading your plans is your management team. So that you want to play up. Okay, so that's the SBDC.net. Somehow this brought me back to B plans. I think they've linked everything together. But this B plans, let me go ahead and go back to my slide. So you know it's in here. B plans and M plans. There are a lot of free resources on here. So just check those out at your leisure. Okay. And that's what will help you with your, not just your industry research and market analysis, but the whole planning process. Okay. Do we have any questions about this so far? Okay. Somebody asked me during the orientation about different pitch competitions. And so I just listed the resources and you guys can check it out on your own. So if you are trying to raise seed capital, F6S has a lot of links to competitions and investors, and as well as accelerators. So does Startup Compete. This one is actually part of the Kauffman Foundation. So there's thousands of different competitions here, both here in the US as well as overseas. And then Circular Board is nice because it's primarily women. So you'll find a lot of access to resources through this link here. Okay, where can we access a replay of this session? This should, New Love, this will automatically update right here on YouTube, and it'll update in Moodle. So you actually don't have to do anything. Some of your classmates have just subscribed to the channel, and it just makes it easier to find on your phone. Okay, but you will always be able to access it on Moodle as well. Okay, good, very good. What else can we talk about? I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Does anyone have any questions so far about anything?
Is it the same thing if you have a nonprofit?
Yes, a lot of it is similar. Tell me specifically what questions you have about your nonprofit. Is it the whole planning process? Is it the NAICS code, or?
No, I just was wanting to make sure it's the same type of process. Or like, I don't want to make a go through something if it's not applicable to a nonprofit. But if it is, then that's it. That's fine.
Yeah, and there are some sample business plans for nonprofits.
Okay.
I think mostly on B plans, but check them both.
Okay.
And then there is a separate NAICS code for nonprofits, although from what I've heard from everybody, it doesn't really fit what they're doing. So use what you're most comfortable with.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, good. Very good. All right. I don't see anything on YouTube. When can someone expect to be charged for a market research person? If you are far enough in your business where you're generating consistent revenue and you don't have time, then yeah, it's worth hiring somebody to do your market research. If you're just starting out, it's recommended that you do it yourself. You will learn more from going through this process than by hiring somebody. But if you're, like if you're trying to scale, you're at that $500,000 mark and you're just trying to grow your business, and you don't have time to do it yourself, then yeah, it's worth hiring somebody at that point. Good, very good. Okay, we're really close to the end of this. So usually what happens now, if no one has any more questions, is I'm going to end the YouTube session, and then I'm going to dial into the telephone session. And that part's nice because we can all talk at the same time, and most people are more free to share because it's not being recorded. So that's an option for you if you're able to stay on, or if you're just joining us now, just go ahead and dial into the telephone conference. That number is on the email that I sent out earlier, okay? Does anyone have anything else before we end on YouTube? How is the online course going? Okay, so I will take it that no news is good news, right? Okay, most people have been able to sign in. If you haven't signed in yet, I know a lot of people have been gone or have been sick or have had emergencies. please reach out to me if you need any more help. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end this. I want to thank everyone who has been able to join us on the YouTube stream as well as the live Google Hangouts. And I'm gonna go ahead and open up the phone lines if anyone has any questions on that. All right. If I don't see you or hear from you on the phone, I will see you all next week on office hours. All right. Take care.